Drinking a beer leads to a court-martial. I will start by saying that I recognize my battle buddy made some bad decisions. What you're about to read is the story of how he discovered the consequences of his own actions. We joined the Air Force through ROTC. Battle buddy gets arrested for DUI. He's prior enlisted and well aware he needs to self-report this, but he interprets 72 hours as more than a year later, and not until they put me in for a TS and I know they're going to find out anyway. By the time he came clean, he had pled guilty to reckless driving and public intoxication, aka wet and reckless, / the standard compromise for first-time DUI offenders in California. He got a very stern talking to, but this was 2 years after 9/11, and he was a strong cadet with an otherwise solid record. He was allowed to commission and keep his pilot slot. He gets on active duty, goes to ASBC 6WK classroom training, has a minor alcohol-related incident, and winds up with a letter of reprimand. As a freshly minted lieutenant, it's not a career killer, unless you don't learn from it. Battle buddy did not learn from it. Along with his LOR, he was put on a non-consumption order. He followed it to the letter, but also bought a six-pack as a gift for someone else and had it in his room. Some Blue Falcon rats him out. He gets a second LOR. His commander flies out, California to Alabama, and verbally tells him, do not drink another drop of alcohol until we get this sorted out. Battle buddy goes back to California, does his own research, and hears that non-consumption orders must be in writing with a defined end date. So he decides on his own that the verbal order doesn't matter. A few weeks later, he's at an official function where the wing commander, a colonel on the cusp of becoming a general, sees him drinking a beer. That earns him a third LOR and an ugly confrontation with his commander, the one who had flown to Alabama to go to bat for him. The commander reviewed his file before the sit-down, saw the arrest, and asked for the story. Battle buddy explained, I started driving home, I realized I shouldn't be driving, so I walked to a gas station to find a payphone, and when I walked back to my car, the cops were there and I was arrested. The commander, trusting his gut more than his miscreant lieutenant, decides to check the police report. From the report, he learns that Battle buddy had tried to drive over an embankment and gotten his front tires stuck on the train tracks. The conductor was barely able to stop the train before running over the car where Battle buddy was found passed out behind the wheel. The second half of the story was exactly as he told his commander. He realized he shouldn't be driving and walked away to find a payphone. At this point, he gets hit with an Article 15 for fraudulent appointment. Battle buddy demands a court-martial instead. He gets convicted. His sentence? A fourth letter of reprimand, a $25,000 fine, the value of the scholarship he received, but no dismissal, meaning he could stay on active duty. His commander was eventually able to force an administrative discharge by convincing Air Force Personnel Command that an O2, with 4 LORs on his record, would never make O3, and should just leave already. The convincing part was easy, but the overall process took about 6 months. All in all, it was an ongoing saga of bad decisions. But if he had resisted the urge to drink a beer at an official event, he could have been a fighter pilot. As it is, he's a bartender. The prosecutor tracked down the retired 06, who was the AFROTC registrar at the time of arrest. He testified that Battle buddy would have been kicked out of ROTC had the full details been brought to his attention within the required 72 hours time frame. That testimony sealed his conviction.